Hi, everybody. I just saw the new Snyder Cut, and it was 4 fucking hours. Four hours. Right off the bat, I can honestly just say right now that that was fucking ridiculous. There were so many scenes in this film that were just completely unnecessary and could have been cut out. In case you don't know, Zack Snyder had to leave production due to a tragedy in his family. And then Josh Whedon stepped in and finished the film. And this is now the version that I'm talking about today is Zack Snyder's completed version of Justice League. This is his film, the original film we were going to get in theaters before uh, Zack Snyder's daughter tragically passed away. I wish the absolute best for Zack and his family. And just know that my issues with this film do not correlate with my issues with, say, Zack Snyder as a person. I think he seems like a decent guy. Seems pretty cool. I'm happy for his success, and I hope he continues to be successful. And I wish him the absolute best. This is just my opinion on the film that he made. If you like it, that's good for you, but that doesn't mean that I am required to like it. Alright, now let's talk about the movie. It's definitely better than the theatrical cut. That much I'll say. Despite the fact that it's 2 hours longer, I will say I was never as bored as I was during the entirety of the theatrical version. Everything in this film looks a lot nicer than what it did in the theatrical version, which isn't saying much because the theatrical version looked like actual fucking garbage. The acting was also a little bit better. There were a few character interactions that they added throughout the film that I quite enjoyed, like one between Wonder Woman and Alfred, which was surprisingly a lot of fun to watch. Aside from that, I pretty much dislike this movie in every other regard almost as much as I dislike the theatrical version. It just has a little bit of an edge. Some of the effects are still really bad. A lot of it's very unfunny. Its tone is very inconsistent. They'll have scenes of like hardcore fucking gore, body parts splitting in half, like sad, sappy ass fucking shit happening, and then the Flash will crack a joke. The music was pretty obnoxious at points, and other points was alright. The action was it wasn't really that good. I never really watched it and thought any of the action sequences were particularly great. There were some kind of cool things that happened, but nothing really spectacular. One of my biggest issues with this film is definitely the effects. The CGI isn't bad per se, but none of it feels real. Nothing has like any presence. It's so obvious whenever something's CG in this film. Which, it's obvious in other films, but for example, something like Infinity War, Thanos at least has like a real presence. Like, I know he's CG, I can tell he's CG, but I feel like he's also really there interacting with the characters. Some of the dialogue was comparable to that of a Kingdom Hearts game. She was the key to his heart. Overall, a lot of my issues with the theatrical cut are still present here. They're just toned down a little bit, which, I mean, yeah, it makes this film better, but it's still pretty annoying. I especially found it annoying how the film tried to pretend like it was an art film, and yet in the last 10 minutes, all it does is set up other movies that are gonna come in the future. Yeah, art films really do that. Like, I don't give a fuck if you're trying to set up sequels for a cinematic universe, but don't try to act like it's some sort of art house thing. I don't know why they decided to have it in the aspect ratio that they did. It added absolutely nothing to the film overall and was just kind of distracting. Like, I got used to it eventually, but even after I got used to it, like every 5 or 6 minutes or so, it would just come back in my head. Why is it like this? There's no purpose for it being like this. So yeah, Zack Snyder's final cut of Justice League, it was better than the theatrical cut, but honestly, the theatrical cut was such a fucking disaster that I wasn't even surprised. If you liked Batman v Superman and Man of Steel, then you'll like this, but if you didn't, don't even bother checking it out, because it's Not worth your time. Unless, of course, you liked the other films. And I'm giving this one a 3 or a 4. Not quite sure. I can't really decide. In case you're curious, my rating for the original Justice League is still in between a 1 out of 10 or a 2 out of 10. I really fucking hate that movie.